طيب، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Uh, um, we are still in the negative attributes or privative attributes, and they are five: um, القدم والبقاء والقيام بالنفس والمخالفة للحوادث والوحدانية. We said beginninglessness, everlasting, um, uniqueness, and independence, and oneness. Okay. Last time we explained the beginningless and everlasting, and I think we give the argument of the beginningless, and I don't remember that we give or we explain the argument of everlasting. Everlasting, let's say the argument very quickly. So what are the given? The given we have here, given, it's like any argument, like in mathematics. So we have given. What are the givens? First, we prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. Allah exists. The second given is we proved the beginninglessness. We proved that that this being is beginningless. Okay. Now, what is the claim that wanted or need to be proved? The claim is that this being, this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that exists and beginningless, the claim is He is everlasting. Okay. Now, the argument. What is the argument? We say that if He wasn't everlasting, the premise one is if He wasn't everlasting, so He accepted to be annihilated, right? That's something clear. Thing that cannot be everlasting in the existence, so eventually it will be annihilated. And this is premise one, okay? Premise two, the being that is accepted to be annihilated, it needs a doer, right? We say that needs murajjah. Like if you have a balance, okay, and this balance is 50-50. So in order to like have this part go down, or this part go down, we need murajjih. We need a doer to do this, right? But actually, the balance was like this. Okay. This is the al-adam. Al-adam means the nothingness. Okay. But the being is exists. Allah is exist. Okay. So we said that if this being is not everlasting, so it accepts to be annihilated. It accepts to be in al-adam, right? And in order to be in al-adam, if it accepts to be annihilated and accepts to be existed, so this existence, need to be done by a doer. Okay. And anything that needs any contingent needs to be uh, done by a doer, it's accident, hadith. But we proved, and it's given, that he is not accident. He is beginningless. He doesn't have a time to start. But according to the argument that suppose he's not everlasting, so the conclusion of premises gives us that he must be accident. But we proved previously he's not accident, he is beginningless. So that will lead us to be accident and also at the same time beginningless. And those are contradictions, and it's impossible to gather the interdictions together. And what led us to a contradiction, or what led us to something impossible, it is impossible in previous level. So, considering that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not everlasting, it's impossible. This is the argument. Is it clear? Yeah, Liam and Sonar.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, it makes sense.
Alhamdulillah. طيب. And so we proved that he is beginningless, and now we're going to put the everlasting to the given now because we proved it. It's a mathematics. So we're going to put it here. So here, number 3, everlasting. Now, the next attribute, the next negation attribute is قيامه بالنفس. I think in the matan it says independence. نعم, independence. So what is the meaning of independence before giving the argument? So let's write the claim. The claim is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independence. Independent. Okay. What does it mean, independent? Independent, it means that he doesn't need two things. He doesn't need to uh, a place to be existed in, and he doesn't need a doer or Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Mukhassas. He doesn't need a doer to give him um a characteristic or attribute that he has, even whether it's his existence or one of his attributes. Okay. So, what does it mean that he doesn't need a place to be in? Let me give you an example. We say that if we looked out to the the existed things in the world, for example, this mic and this book and everything, whether that exists in outside the world, whether it is um stay alone or it's something existed inside something else. What does it mean? I mean, the atoms is something existed by itself, but the movement of the atoms or the electrons or something, this movement is not separated. In order to this movement, in order to be existed, it need to be existed inside this jawhar, inside this atom. So we say that the existence, as we mentioned before, the existence outside, it's whether it's body or a materialistic body or something inside this body. I forgot what does it mean, arad. Can anyone remind me what does it mean, arad? You don't know, you don't remember, yeah, Liam, right? I think Allahumma salli ala sayyidina. Actually, I don't remember. So yeah, we need to prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need, he doesn't need something to be existed in. Exactly like the attributes of things. The attributes of things, it needs the attribute itself. It needs the thing to be inside this attribute. For example, we can give Liam an adjective and we say Liam is smart. So smart is an attribute of Liam. So it cannot be the attribute of smartness. It cannot be in a world like this without being inside Jawhar, right? Oh. So what does it mean, hadith? Emergent? Yes, I remember. So I confused in past, uh, the past argument from emergent and accident. Naam, naam. So we have jawhar and accident. We have a body and accidents. And we say that attributes are accidents, and and these accidents, uh, its existence needs mahal, needs a place. This place is the man that is being attributed with. Now we need to prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independent. When we said there are two meanings, the meaning is he doesn't need a place to be inside, like accident to the bodies. And the second thing is the doer that gives him the characteristic that he has. Let's start proving the first one. So we say that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not independence, we're not going to say independence because it has two meanings. We're going to say he doesn't need mahal. He doesn't need um place to existed, to be existed, okay? We say that if he if he's if he's not independent, or if he does already need a place to be inside, so he is sifa. The premise one, he is sifa. What is sifa? Sifa means he is attribute. So if he needs something to existed in, and we know that the things that existed in the places are attributes, exactly like the movement of the atom. This movement is an adjective, an attribute of this atom. It needs this atom to be there. If there is no atom, there is no movement. So we say that if he needs a place to be inside, so he is an attribute. So he is not attribute, not a being, not an actual being, not a that. Okay. Now, someone can say, okay, what if he like that? What if he like a being that exists inside a being? We say that's impossible. We can see atoms, they are gathered beside itself. But can they are merged together, be one? No, it's impossible. It's impossible. If they are, someone can say, okay, we can see the water like H2O, right? That's they are merged together. No, that's not merged together. The oxygen didn't become a hydrogen, or a hydrogen didn't become uh, uh, um, uh, an oxygen, okay? And they are not in the same, what does it called? The same capacity, okay? If you added one atom to one atom, so the hajm, what does it mean, hajm? Oh, subhanallah, I forgot. What does it mean, hajm? The size start to get bigger. So they not remain in the same size. The size started to get bigger. That's proof that they are not become one. The being cannot merge inside a being. It can be beside it. It can be new composition, but not the same composition and not the same size. So we say it has to be an attribute. And we can end the argument here. We can say, okay, and the God is not an attribute, he's a being. But someone can say, okay, he's an attribute. What's the problem? Now, we continue our argument. we say that it's impossible that he is an attribute because we proved we proved that he existed and he has no beginning and he has no end. And there was like other given things that he is knowledgeable, all knowing, and he is all powerful and all and he has a will. Okay. And if he an attribute, so that means this attribute is inside one of the attributes, one of this attributes, and the attributes that we talked about, the knowing and the power and the will. So the attribute, if he's an attribute, he is inside attribute. And the attribute cannot be attributed, right? Like, can you describe the knowledge? Can you describe the knowledge is knowledgeable? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So we say that if he's an attribute, all of the attributes that we proved it is necessary for him that need to be vanished, but it will not vanish. So you can say, okay, this attribute is inside this attribute. We say impossible. The attribute cannot be attributed. The attribute cannot be described and be another attribute. We cannot say knowledge is knowledgeable or uh, um, um, hmm, the knowledge is not knowledgeable. So it's not something like this. That's impossible. And what led to the impossible, the thing that led to the impossible, it's impossible in a previous stage. So needing a place to be inside, it's impossible. So he's independent according to the place. Okay. Liam says, could you not say uh yes, look, I understand. So you describe the knowledge with the beginningless. We said that these these attributes is negation attributes. Yes, you can describe it with negative attributes because it's negative. You don't add something to it. But you cannot describe it with the positive attributes that you add something to it, which is al-ilm wal-qudra wal-irada, the knowing, the will, and the power, right? Yes, the negative is just rejecting the attributes rather than, yes, adding something to it. So this is argument one. That so we said that the meaning of independence is two. That he needs a place, doesn't need a place, and doesn't need a door. So claim number two is he doesn't need a door. A door, it's called murajjih or mukhassis. That's in Arabic. Okay. What does it mean, murajjih or mukhassis? Murajjih or mukhassis is, or door, it's a being that give the existence to the being of Allah or one of his attributes. So if he needs a doer, that's an easy one because it's like we explained it before, but let's say it again. So if he needs a doer, so that means he is emergent, not necessary. Sorry, he's contingent. He's contingent. And if he needs a doer to one of to his existence or one of his attributes, he's contingent and emergent. And we proved that he's not contingent and he's not emergent. So that means he will be contingent, emergent, and at the same time necessary and beginninglessness. That's impossible because the two contradictions cannot be together. So what led to the impossible is impossible. So it's impossible that he needs a door. That what does it mean to he is independent? Is it clear for now? بارك الله فيك يا ليام. So let's add number 4 is independent. Claim number 5, we say is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's pick another color, unique, مخالف للحوادث, unique. What does it mean, unique? Unique, it means that he is not like any emergent or any existence, any existed thing that we see. Like he's not jawhar, he's not like an atoms, consists of atoms, and he's not a body, and he's not an accident, and he's not moved. He doesn't being attributed with moving being or stillness being, and he doesn't attributed with big or small or above or down or inside places or like merged with the body, like the claim of Christianity, he become inside the body of the Jesus, or connection or not connection or right or left or he doesn't being attributed with any attribute that can be subjected on the emergent things. Now, why you said this? What is the argument of this? Because we say, premise one, if he's not unique, if he somehow like the emergence we see, if he like the atoms, ta'ala Allahu an dhalik, if he like the atoms, like the moving things, so the similarity, according to the similarity, so he will he will accept to be attributed as emergent, right? Like if I have a being, if I have an atom, okay, and this atom is stays still in its place, and it accepted to be to move also, okay, so that makes it contingent. And when it started to move, so there wasn't movement, and then the movement come to the existence. So that's emergent. And we say that if he is not unique, if he exactly the same like the emergent things, so we say that the attributes of the emergent will be subjected on the being of Allah. And when it's subjected on the being of Allah, that means it become first contingent, and we proved that he's not contingent. He's necessary being. The second is he has emergent attributes like movement, bigger, okay? And he needs a doer to apply one of these attributes. But previously, we proved that he is necessary being and he's not emergent. He is beginningless in a given. And he doesn't need a doer. He is independent. So we say that the claim that he's not unique, that he is somehow like the emergent existed thing, is impossible. And the thing that led to the impossible is impossible. So, believing that he is not unique is impossible. So, he has to be unique. So, we're going to add here number 5 that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique. Now, I'm going to put this one. This is not a negation attribute. This is, we say that a sifa nafsiyya. Okay. Now, we have another attribute, which is oneness. We're going to al-wahdaniyya. We're going to that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only one in his being and his action and his attributes. We're going to prove it and talk about it next class, inshallah. But today, inshallah, we're going to, it's enough to understand these 3 attributes. Let's read them. Ya Liam. Let's read them from the book. And yeah, you can share from your side.
Inshallah. Bismillah. Sallallahu alayhi wa kareem. From beginninglessness, yeah?
Yeah.
Beginninglessness and everlastingness. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu is necessarily without beginning nor end. The necessary being does not accept non-existence by virtue of who he is. So his existence cannot be preceded by non-existence, i.e., he cannot have beginning. And his existence cannot be succeeded by non-existence, i.e., he cannot have an end. The textual proof for Allah's beginninglessness and everlastingness is his saying, هُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ. He is the first and the last. He is the first, so he is not preceded by anything. And he is the last, so he is not succeeded by anything. Independence. Zoom in a bit more.
Yeah,
Allah
that's
is
better.
also completely independent. He does not depend on anything else for his own existence, not on another creator to bring him into existence, nor on a being to subsist with him, unlike the Christians who believe that he subsided within Christ's body. His independence is also given his necessity. The existence of the necessary being is by virtue of who he is, so he does not depend on anything else. The textual proof for Allah's independence is his saying, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ أَنْتُمُ الْفُقَرَاءُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ هُوَ الْغَنِيُّ الْحَمِيدُ. O mankind, verily you are in need of Allah, and Allah the praiseworthy is in need of nothing. Uniqueness. Allah is unlike anything in creation. This is because every aspect of any created being is created. So if Allah shared with any created being some of those created aspects, then Allah would have been part created, and that is impossible for the independent and necessary being. The textual proof for Allah's uniqueness is his saying, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ. Nothing is like Allah's resemblance. His saying, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, and there is nothing like unto him, and his saying, رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا فَاعْبُدُوهُ وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِهِ هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ
فاعبده. فاعبده not فاعبدوه. نعم.
فَاعْبُدْهُ. There's a mistake in the tashkil. فَاعْبُدُهُ وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِهِ هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا. The Lord of the heavens and earth, and all that which exists between them. So worship him and be patient in your worship. Do you know of any like him? Amongst the many other passages proclaiming his dissimilarity from the contingent world.
بارك الله فيك وأحسن الله إليك. Next time, inshallah, we're going to explain Al-Wahdaniyah. And Al-Wahdaniyah is very important because this is what makes us different from Christianity. And, what makes us different from Jewish people is الصفات التنزيهية, or the negation attributes that we talked about, that he is nothing, like nothing, and independent, and unique, and beginningless, everlasting. هذه هي الأشياء يعني. طيب, this is for today. Do you have any questions?